Well, hello there. My name is Mahdi, and I'm here to rank Kanye West's discography with this tier list. Now, if you don't know me, I'm a big Kanye West fan. Like, I'm kind of a stan, if you can say it, and I'm not really proud of it, but I just really fucking love Kanye West, man. I think he's an amazing artist. I think he's a genius. He's an amazing producer, singer, songwriter, everything, and uh I'm I've been a fan of him since I think it's been like 4 years or 5 years. So I became a fan of him really late, but when I went back and checked out his old discography, I just fell in love with his work. Now I'm here to do a tier list of his whole discography. That means like every single album he has officially released. Now, if you see in this tier list, there is Yanda, which is actually not a real album, but I'm just gonna take it as the leak album, which we all heard, which had like a New Body and Hurricane and stuff like that. But I wish it had like leaked albums too, like unreleased albums, like So Help Me God or Love Everyone. I hope it had those, but it just has this whole main discography. All right, let's start. First, 808s and Heartbreak. Now, the thing is, this album is really hated between like hip hop fans in general and even Kanye West fans. This album is kind of hated, but I really fucking love this album, man. Like, I've cried to this album. Like, some of my favorite Kanye West songs are from this album. Coldest Winters, Amazing, and oh my god, the intro, Say You Will, which is like fucking amazing. So I really don't know where to put it. I wouldn't count it as like an S tier Kanye album because I think even he himself can like agree that it's not a good album. It had some flops. Uh, I think honestly, like I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. You know, I'm trying to think both as from my perspective and from a perspective of like a normal fan or hip hop fan. So I think this is gonna go to B. Yeah, yeah, this is gonna go to B. Although it's one of my favorites, it's gonna go to B because it's not his best album. Basically, it's not that high quality. All right, Kids to Ghost. Oh my fucking god, I love this album. God, and that's the thing. Like, I want to put this as S tier, but the thing is, because it's a collaboration between Kid Cudi and Kanye, I don't think it deserves to be S. Although I believe like it's easily top three Kanye albums. Uh, well, the thing is, first of all, it's too short. Like, it's too good, and it's too short, man. Like, I wish it was longer. And it's not like a full Kanye album. The thing is, I don't know where to put it because personally, there is not a single song on that album that I think it's even like good. I think every song on that album is just amazing, like top tier Kanye song. Uh, 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 yeah, I'm gonna put that as alright. Okay, fuck it. Alright. Nah, actually, I'm gonna move it to A. Fuck. Alright, The Life of Pablo. Now, The Life of Pablo is personally my favorite Kanye album because I think The Life of Pablo is where the album is so bizarre and it's a lot of people hate it because it's really chaotic, but that's the only reason I love it because it's just Kanye. It's if you want to get into Kanye, I feel like the best album to listen to is The Life of Pablo because that's who Kanye is. It's so chaotic and it's so over the place. It has songs from gospel songs to sex songs like Freestyle 4 to like normal like hip hop songs like old school hip hop songs like No More Parties in LA. Uh, that album, and like that's my favorite Kanye album if I'm gonna be honest. I think And I believe that's the only Kanye album which is fully 10 out of 10. So I'm gonna put that as S tier. Now, Cruel Summer, man. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. This, like the only Kanye album which I think like is an F is Cruel Summer, because you know that album to me is just not a Kanye album. It was that album was released at an era where making compilation albums of like random artists collabing with each other was really popular. So like I in that era, I feel like the whole intent of this album was to, let's just gather around as much as artists that we can, and let's make a compilation album with big names. So that's why it's gonna go F, first of all because it's not really Kanye based, and second of all because I genuinely don't like that album. It's not consistent. I actually don't have any favorite songs from that album. It's just, nah, as a Kanye album, it's not a good album. Alright, let's go. Graduation. Alright, this is gonna be really hard because I really like Graduation. I think Graduation is the most easy Kanye West album that you can hear and get into it, you know, because it's really easy to get into. It's anthem, hip hop, and there's so many beautiful songs on that album. I wouldn't put it as S tier for sure. I don't think it's S tier. But I don't know if it's gonna go in A or B. That's the thing, like, personally, Graduation is not like my top 4, even top 5. So I'm gonna put it as B. But it's still a really good album. Jesus is King. Now, I actually really like this album. I know it's a hot take kind of, but I actually think this album is decent. Like, at least 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I mean, it's not perfect, yeah, of course, but still, like, Follow God, Salah, and fucking, what was that song? Everything We Need? Was it? Yeah? Yeah, just, I really like that song. I believe every song on that album is just good, you know? It does their job. There's not a single bad song on that album. And of course, Close on Sunday, which is one of my favorite Kanye's tracks. It's gonna go C. Yeah. Because, no, it's not a good album. Alright, Late Registration. Now, come on, this deserves an A tier. The only reason I'm not putting it as C is that I personally, I know it's a weird thing, but personally, I don't like the College Dropout and the Late Registration as much as the new Kanye albums. You know, like the old Kanye. I miss the old Kanye. I really don't like the old Kanye's music that much. I know it sounds weird, but I don't know. I feel like Kanye got more experimental and more. Yeah, his music got more experimental, and that's why I like it more. So I'm gonna put Late Registration as A. I have so many favorites from the album, but it's still gonna go A. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Now, this album, man, it's gonna go S. Like, it's not even a debate. This album is fucking beautiful. Like, from the beginning to the end, I love every single track from that album. It's just an amazing album. Like, I've listened to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy so many times in my life that I think I can't even count how many times, how many nights, how many weeks I've just spent time listening to this album. Fucking from Dark Fantasy, like, just every track is just amazing. And of course it has Runaway, which is like, I believe, top 3 Kanye songs. And Hell of a Life, which I believe is a little underrated. I really like that song. And Devil in the Universe. So I believe my Review Dark Twisted Fantasy is gonna go S. Alright, The College Dropout. Now, I like College Dropout more than Late Registration, so I'm gonna put it as S. The College Dropout is such a classic album, you know, like it sounds so nostalgic, it's so beautiful. Like every song on that album, every skit, it's just beautiful, man. It's basically classic Kanye, and I love it. I love that album. But, and of course it's gonna go S. Now, Yeezus, man. Yeezus. Now, personally, I would put this as S because in my whole ranking of Kanye albums, this album is second. Because this album is just amazing. I love it. I love it so much. I love how chaotic it is. I love how experimental it is. Even the bad songs, even Send It Up, which is like considered a bad song. I love that song, you know, because it's so experimental and it's so new. I just love the fact that Kanye doesn't give a fuck and just does twice new stuff out, you know? And to this day, like, I feel like it has aged really well, and it still surprises me. This album still surprises me to this day, every time I listen to it. Now, I was gonna put it as C, but I told you, I'm not gonna be biased. So a lot of people really don't like this album because it's not that good, but I'm still really like it. So I'm gonna put it at A, because most people don't like it. Now, Yandi. Now, the thing with Yandi is that from the leaks that I've heard, it's I'm just gonna judge it from the leaks that I heard, because I heard the same leaks and it sounded like an amazing album. Like it genuinely sounds like a wasted potential, from Godzilla/Alien to The Storm, 80 Degrees, New Body, which is like, oh my god, this is a fucking good song. And Walk the Dead, which was supposed to be, I think, in Jesus is King, which is probably gonna be in Donda. I'm really excited for Donda. From Walk the Dead, man, to like Cash to Burn, every song on that album, I really enjoyed it when I listened to the leaked album. And I think if it really released one day, for me personally, it would go to B in my personal Kanye West rankings. Alright, next is Watch the Throne with Jay-Z. Now, I really like this album. I quite like it. I have a lot of favorites of this, obviously, but I don't know, man. Like, that album is really hard, but at the same time, I don't think it's S or A Kanye West. I really don't think that. I think it's B. Yeah. If even C, I know that's really cruel, but I would put it on C because I don't feel a connection. I don't feel a connection at all. Like, I've heard it so many times, and every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, I just want to switch to another Kanye album. I don't really like. I understand why a lot of people like it, but personally, I don't enjoy it that much. I don't find that much enjoyment out of it. Now, Ye. Yeah, man. I know this album is really hated between Kanye albums, but I genuinely believe this album is an A because it's such an amazing and personal album. It's the most personal Kanye has been, and I believe, like, from I Thought About Killing You to Yikes, which is a fucking banger, and Wouldn't Leave, which is like an amazing love song to Kim, and fucking Violent Crimes, man. Violent Crimes, other than Saint Pablo, is my favorite Kanye West outro. One of my favorite outros ever of him. I mean, the first place is gonna be always Saint Pablo because that's just such an iconic song. But Violent Crimes makes me emotional every time. Like, every time I hear Violent Crimes, I cheer up. Because I always think like, what if I have a daughter? It makes you feel like it makes you think about future too when I have a daughter myself. All right, that was my ranking of Kanye West albums. I hope you enjoyed, and suggest me on the comments if there's any artists or groups that you want me to do a tier list of them, or listen to their music. I'm open to every kind of music. And like and subscribe if you want. It's free, you know, we can do it. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.